Before we begin, we'll stand up and start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Please rise. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Sorry, I was having a stroke.
Thank you.
I did.
If you are just tuning in, welcome. We're happy to have you here joining us today, whether you are online or in person. We are now convening for a limited formal meeting, which means this is not a standard formal meeting agenda. Tonight, the council needs to reconsider action on the final step in the annual budget process for the city's Truth and Taxation hearing, a public hearing required by the state. A truth and taxation hearing happens when any of the following takes place. The city raises property taxes, property tax stabilization, judgment levy. Although the hearing is a formal step required by the state, the council is always interested in hearing from the public. Feedback from the public helps the council make decisions in future budgets or even amendments to this year's budget. However, if you've received your property tax assessment and wish to protest, please contact Salt Lake County or visit its appeals website page. Thank you again to everyone who's joining us tonight. Before we move through the agenda, I want to remind everyone about our rules of decorum, which are in place to ensure our meetings move along well and to help everyone feel comfortable sharing their comments. A copy of the full rules of decorum are available at the door, and our staff will post the link in Zoom. Now we will begin our Truth and Taxation public hearing for the fiscal year 25-26. Please raise your hand in the room or on Zoom for staff assistance. If you're having technical issues in Zoom, our staff member Matilda Bleschuk can assist you. If you reach the 2-minute mark, the host will announce time and your microphone will be muted. Taylor Hill on our staff will be calling those who wish to comment based on the order we received the names. If you are on Zoom, please unmute your mic when Taylor calls your name. Before we begin taking comments, I will first turn the time over to Jennifer Bruno, Council Executive Director, to give a short introduction.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This public hearing is the final step in the Council's process outlined in State Code, commonly referred to as Truth and Taxation. The process is required by law for this proposed fiscal year because the budget adopted for the city, adopted by the Council in June, includes a judgment levy, which is technically a one-time, one-year property tax increase to repay the city for judgments in the previous fiscal year. Public hearings on those fiscal year 2026 budgets were held on May 20th and June 3rd of this year, prior to the council adoption on June 10th. This is a separate public hearing required by state law and is specific to the property tax revenue proposed to be received by the city and library. For general information, city departments were discussed in detail at each of the council's work sessions in May and June. Recordings of those discussions are available on YouTube and the council's website, as are staff analyses of each department. More information can be found on the council's budget hub at tinyurl.com/SLC-FY26. At the conclusion of the hearing, the council has the option of adopting the property tax rates for both the city and library as advertised, or it could elect to adopt a rate less than but not greater than the rate proposed and advertised. If it adopts a lesser rate, the council would need to rebalance the budget so that revenues are balanced with expenditures, as state law requires that the city establish a balanced budget each year. And with that, we can go to the hearing.
Thank you, Jen. Taylor, please start with our first public comment.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We have 2 people registered. The first will be Alicia Scotter, followed by Mellet Dean. Alicia's here in person.
Hi, my name's Alicia Scotter, and I live here in Salt Lake City. I guess one of the concerns that we have had as moving from one home to another here in Salt Lake is that we discovered that our property tax, based on the value that we purchased our new home, is about 3 times higher than our neighbors. And it just seems to me that it isn't really fair for people moving in to be paying property taxes that are that significantly higher than the people in the surrounding homes just because they're based on the recent purchase price, whereas we know that the homes surrounding us must be about the same value. And I believe that they need to address this issue and make sure that homes in neighborhoods are all paying relatively equal to the property tax, and we're not seeing these huge increases being paid by people that are moving in based on the value that they purchased their new homes with. And the other concern that I've had is I understand that our property taxes in Salt Lake City are quite high, and it's based on a lot of the non-taxable lands that we have in Salt Lake City. We have universities, colleges, a lot of church properties, and unlike many other cities, we just have a significant amount of our city lands that are not being taxed. And as we start seeing some issues raised by different religions that they would like to be able to be involved with making political decisions, I think that if they want to have the responsibility of being able to vote in certain ways, that maybe we should be looking at also having them have taxation.
Thank you for your public comment. We'll move on to the next commentator.
Next will be Millet Dean, who is here in person.
Good evening, council and city employees. My name is Dean Millott. I reside in District 7. The day after the budget was passed on June 11th in KSL article, it was stated that Councilman Wharton was proud that a balanced budget was passed. It was also stated in that same article by Councilwoman Petro that it was believed, without stating a lot of quotes and figures, that it was believed that we were hurtling towards property tax increases. I think, in my opinion, the council passed a budget knowing that property taxes were likely going to increase. I don't understand how Salt Lake County can present to the citizens, the property owners in Salt Lake County, this property tax increase by Salt Lake City, and then have this tax, truth and taxation meeting. Okay, there's ways to go about with reducing this increase in property taxes. I do reside in Salt Lake City. I am a property owner, as I stated. Capital improvements. $60-some million budgeted towards projects? Let's reduce some of that. Maybe reduce the actual real estate proposed tax increases by 50% and then decrease this capital improvement. I am all for traffic calming. I have that on my street. It doesn't work. Newer vehicles, they go right through the bumps and they're smooth as can be. Nothing against city workers, but waste collection, trash collection and so forth, when the sweeper goes through, well then I get to go out and clean up the waste that comes out of the back end as it goes over that bump. Again, I don't have...
Time.
Thank you for your public comment. Do we have any other commentators?
That was the final register commenter.
Perfect, thank you. Thank you to everyone who came out to make a public comment.
Madam Chair?
Yes, go ahead, Councilmember.
Just as a quick note that is important, I think, for the process of taxation, which is very complex in the state of Utah. The county, which is not us, the county is who assesses the properties and values the properties to calculate the tax rates. And all of us can go, as property owners, can go to the county auditor and file a request to reassess our property. And the county council gets to decide through their process if they get to, if there is the claim has merits or not. I think it is important to know that there are multiple entities, and it's hard to understand how this process works. It's not an easy one. I've been doing this, working in government or related to government for 15 years, and I'm still learning new pieces of it. But I will recommend everybody to Google the Salt Lake County Auditor and you will be able to file a request to reassess your property if you have concerns about that. As far as the budget of Salt Lake, there are multiple points of views about how to do with the money that we have. I know how hard all of you and the administration works to balance this budget. That is hard. And spreading the peanut butter on between streets and traffic calming and lights and all of the things that the neighbors are wanting in every single of our districts. I know that we are working very hard. So thank you all of you. Thank you all of you that came to comment also to share your thoughts.
Chair, can I ask a point of personal privilege?
Go ahead.
I think since people in this room tend to care about taxation and taxes, maybe you're more of a target audience. One of the things that's hurdling, especially in my neighborhood where displacement is likely, should we continue to increase it, including my own, is the presence of the taxation preemption that the mayor's been fighting since before I was on the council, when she was on the council, whereby large swaths of land not only are taken from us in terms of generating revenue, but are still given to us in terms of the responsibility to serve them. So part of the issue that I'm dealing with, and that quote was referring to, so thank you for giving me a moment to speak to it, is that we are responsible for plowing streets along which we don't collect revenue. We just this year had $1.886 million worth of revenues subsumed from us in an area where we typically provide $1.3 million worth of service, and we're compelled to receive just under $33,000 from the state in what was called an agreement. So what ends up happening is our neighbors begin subsidizing that authority before development even begins. So then when we do need the stoplight, that money that was supposed to be there for the stoplight is being taken for priorities that are determined outside of our city. So I appreciate you giving me a moment to speak to that, because part of what's hurdling us is unfunded mandates coming down as every level of government above us abdicates its role in behavioral health, in Medicaid, in all of the things that we've come to depend on as a social safety net, and then take profitable swaths of land and compel us into agreements that don't meet our actual need. You as Salt Lake City constituents pick up the bill. And it's not a sexy message. It's not something you can put on a campaign flyer and get people to care about. During the legislative session, it doesn't tend to get the headlines because there's always a bigger thing that sells more newspapers. But if you're in the room and you care about taxation, I'm begging you, this is something really important that the future of our city requires more people to understand and care about. We have to come together, because I still have to pave your streets because that's my responsibility. I still have to have police to deploy because that's my financial responsibility to do that. But we're needing to get police to more places than are generating revenue. So I would love to speak to you more, but I think people who are concerned, who care about this, who are tuning into Truth and Taxation, please understand this. This is going to impact you no matter how fiscally responsible we are. It is not sustainable. So thank you.
Thank you, everybody, and thank you for the points of personal privilege from my colleagues. I'll look for a motion.
Madam Chair, I move that the council close the public hearing and adopt an ordinance establishing the final rate of tax levy, including the final levy for the library fund upon all real and personal property within Salt Lake City made taxable by law for fiscal year 2025-2026, and ratify the budget as adopted by the council in June.
Second.
Motion made by Councilmember Pui, second by Councilmember Dugan. Is there any discussion? Okay, seeing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes unanimously. This concludes our limited formal city council meeting. This meeting now stands adjourned.